Good morning. We had a number of questions at the beginning of this school year having to do with class size and staffing ratios and how those work together. And the concerns, and we hear this all the time. Well, what do you mean the class size or the staffing ratio is 27 1/4? I've got 32 kids in my class. I want to explain this. This is a great opportunity. So, in Granite School District, in elementary and junior high, for every 27 1/4 kids you have, you get an FTE. Now this is really important. The 27 1/4 per FTE, that FTE only gets spent on teachers. I mean, a school can petition and ask, can we use it? There's a memo on this. Can we use this for a part-time classroom teacher or to help hire a specialist or something? But that FTE is not spent on counselors. It's not. I heard the other day, well, our custodian comes out of that FTE. No, the custodian doesn't come out of that. The counselors, that's a separate allocation. The school administration's a separate allocation. The 27 1/4 to 1, that's teachers. Now, here's how, let's say we've got I did some of these numbers before. Let's say we've got an elementary school or a junior high with 545 kids in it. Or a junior high with twice that many kids in it or something like that. So you take this number, you divide it by 27 1/4, and it turns into 20 FTE. Now, if you're in an elementary school, because kids don't show up in 27 1/4 units, right? So depending on how many you've got in your 3rd grade and how many you've got in your 5th grade, and this is done at the school level. The district doesn't tell you how to do this. But schools tend to like to lower the elementaries, maybe 22. But if they're down to 22, right, 27.25, if you got somebody at 22, then somebody else is picking up those 5 kids, right? And so then you see the upper grades maybe a little bit higher. But the staffing ratio is 27 1/4. Now, let's pretend we're at a junior high school. And you say, well, none of my classes are 27 1/4. That just doesn't happen. What do you mean 27 1/4? Well, here's the deal. Let's say you're at a 7-period, let's say we're at a 545 student junior high school on a 7-period day. Okay, so here we are at a 7-period junior high school. Ratio of 27 1/4. So each teacher then on the 7-period day, 35, 14, 15, 16, 17, decimal place comes down, 50, 14. So on the average, every teacher is going to be responsible really for 191 students. But in a 7-period day at junior high school, you don't teach those 191 students evenly distributed over 7 periods. In fact, you get a prep period. So you're going to teach these 191 students at 27 1/4. You're going to teach those 191 students in 6 periods. So 191 divided by 6, 3, 18 subtract equals 1. So just between 30 and 31 students. So if the staffing ratio is 27 1/4, between 31 and 32 students. If your staffing ratio is 27 1/4 and you've got a 7-period day and a consultation, you're going to have 31 to 32 kids in your class, would be the average across the school. So if you're at a junior high and your school community council and your principal, you decided, we're going to cap our language arts classes at 25. Let's say 27. We're going to cap our language arts classes at 27. That means there's another 5 kids for every one of those classes that are being subsidized somewhere else. But this shows, even though that's the staffing ratio, that's going to be the average class size. Now let's say we're at a junior high with an 8-period day, or the 4x4 block. Now we're 27.25 times 8. 0, 4, 16, 20, 56, 57, 58, 16. Now each teacher is going to have 218 kids. But those 218 kids, you've got 2 prep periods. So it's 218 divided by 6 again. 6, 12, 18, 3 equals 3, 8, 6, 6. your average class size is 36 to 37 students from a staffing ratio of 27.25. Okay, part two. So here we are, a high school, 28.25. For every 28.25 kids, the school gets an FTE. Now those are taught, that's divided over 8 periods, so a teacher's going to have 226 kids. 226 divided by 6, because that's how many periods the teachers teach. 3, 6, 12, 18, subtract equals 4, 6. 6 times 7 is 42, 6 times 8 is 48, so 6, what did I just say, 6 times 7? So 37 to 38 in the 8-period block is the average class size. Now again, let's say you got a special program, and so you decide as a school community council, you decide as a school, you know what, we're gonna have 20 kids in this class because that's important to us. That's great. That's great. But when you got 20 kids in a class, that means somebody else is subsidizing 17 to 18 of those kids, is taking those off your hands, if you will. Now maybe it's Jim, and maybe Jim has I don't know, 80 kids, 90 kids, 100 kids, 40 kids, whatever. So Jim might be a place that soaks kids up naturally. You got a choir program, you got a great choir teacher that's building the program, and they've got 50, 60, 70 kids in those classes. That's where the subsidy comes from, to get a class size down below what is the mathematical average class size, given the way these periods work. That's the answer to that question that people say, how come you say the staffing ratio is 27, 28, whatever that is, but my class sizes are so much bigger? It's because of how many periods are taught and the prep periods, how those work in. I hope that's helpful. I hope that answers the question. Thanks for all you do.